Welcome to Japanese Inscrutable Society. Topics: Foreigners in Japan. Previous episode, I showed a kind of situation. How many people come to Japan as a visitors, which is the tourism, and number of people who reside in Japan. Completely different kind of people. According to the data, last year, which means 2025, 42 million visitors, tourists, 42 million. World most largest figure has been covered by France, around 100 million, followed by Spain, just below 100 million. That is a huge market over there exists. United States, maybe 70 million, China, 65 million. There are countries like this. The Japanese figure, first time we reached this beyond 40 million. This is actually, we never experienced this figure. So throughout the year, there are many, many foreigners all over Japan, which we never experienced this kind of situation. And residents, 4 million. 4 million is globally small numbers. If you are in European countries, North America, which is countries or areas of immigration. Probably sometime each single year, 500,000, 1 million people come to your country. That's a big expansion of the local population. In Japan, 4 million. Here, last episode, you saw this one. Japanese actually population 122.6 million. So 123 million. And this includes foreigners, 4 million. Now 4 million, which represent the population ratio. But it's at 3%, but close to 4% already. 4%. This is a very tiny figure if you look into other, say, European countries, the American country of immigration. So Austria, Sweden, more than 20% of the population are foreigners, migrants, and this is Britain 14.4%, Germany 18.2%, France 13.1%. So they are 2-digit. Most of the countries, when we talk about immigration, most of the cases, 2 digits. But Japan, until last year, people talk about 3%. And last year, some more figures increased, so 4%. This is the kind of situation we have in Japan. But when we say immigration, that is a very different the situation here we have in Japan. Immigration, that's a big issue in the United States. Mr. President, Mr. Trump actually physically closed the border between Mexico and United States. and the say flags from Central South America and Europe, many from African nations, Middle East. So there are immigration is a huge issue, very serious issue, and just recent the years we see a political shift from more lenient to migrants to more rigid attitude to the migrants. So this is a big change. That's why many right wing, many countries, right wing, they expand their actually the powers, actually number of seats in the parliament. Uh, so there are many things people talk about immigration. But in Japan, immigration, uh, there's a Japanese word, imin. This is imin, transfer people. So people transfer, change the place to live or to work. This is a Japanese word, imin. But Japanese government has no policy of imin. It's strange. This is a country with 120, 30 million have no immigration policy. Yes, this is a imin is not the word in used in legal matters in Japan. Japan is not supposed to have no imin. The imin, the reality and the kind of concept of the country regarding immigration is actually kind of conflicting the matters. Immigration in Japan is called 出入国管理. This is the exit, entry, the country. So take exit, take entry, take exit of the country. This is the control, management of the entry and exit of the country. This is the immigration in Japan. So this imin to do with migration is something outside the concerns of Japanese national policy. That's strange. 4 million people here in Japan. And among 4 million, 2.5 million workers, 1.5 million foreign residents. So this is a very much unique the situation of the country here, Japan. This imin existed very much vivid world some decades ago or a century ago. Since Japanese migrants cross the water to reach other side of the Pacific Ocean, which is the United States. It took place longer than a century ago. Outbound, this imin existed, but inbound, Japan is not welcome imin from outside. Even though we send 100,000 people outside Japan, the total number could be million. This imin started in Japan is year 1868. 1868? This is the year of Meiji Restoration. Tokugawa shogunate fell down. The end of medieval 7 centuries long samurai period. Meiji Ishin. This is the year that Japan opened the country, step into the world, which is called Western countries, European countries, North America. This is a year before this, Japan closed the country for 2.5 centuries under Tokugawa shogunate. And during that period, Japanese are not allowed to go out. And also, of course, the foreigners not allowed to reach Japanese water, except Dutch traders and Chinese traders. They are all very much the limited areas called Dejima in Nagasaki. That is the only place to receive the foreign vessels. It lasted for centuries. So Japanese, actually, when Tokugawa, the regime, they announced this national seclusion policy in the middle of 17th century. There are Japanese traders, residents, migrants to other part of Asian countries. There are Japanese towns in Thailand, Malay, maybe around today called Vietnam. But they are no longer allowed to come back to Japan. So no entry, no exit. That's even applied to Japanese nationals at that time. So for the first time, centuries, 1868, after Meiji Restoration, the kind of completely new policy adopted. People start leaving Japan to go to other country, to live, to work. It started 1868. Why Japanese reached this stage? And we say started the Imin policy. This is a very much historical background we have to understand. And this year, a group of people dispatched to island of Hawaii. And 1870s, 80s, the first tiny numbers, but gradually become larger group of people. Even reached the mainland United States. Actually, Hawaii is a kind of kingdom until sometime a couple of decades later. So Japanese migrants actually cross the water to Hawaii, which is not part of the United States, but later, of course, part of the United States. And also 70s, 80s, 90s, some people even cross the water long distance to reach the west coast of United States. So some Japanese sent to the United States or even Britain or Europe as government authorized students. So they have full protection to continue study outside Japan. But there are some other people. Of course, many people actually not authorized any fund to cross the water to study at the schools over there. So they go privately of some big ambition, dreams. And such people start start their life. So, for example, in California, maybe San Francisco, and some people study at the night school, whatever. They live at the American families, do whatever the family want, like a servant. But they have an opportunity to study in the United States. So later years, they start their own business, and some actually people really successful. Maybe open the agricultural farms, and maybe some companies, and San Francisco, Los Angeles, and there are some Japanese community developed into Japanese towns. And so these are very much affected, start affecting American society. California is not actually place to live nicely until middle of 19th century. There are 1940s, 1950s, the gold rush. There's so many people come to California. And shortly before 1850, railway finally crossed the Atlantic, the continent to reach the west coast, from east coast to west coast. Transcontinental railway reached California. So that is a big the boosting the situation of going west. That is a kind of buzzword among Americans. There are many people actually within the country migrating to the state of California. California, gold rush, people actually pursuing some opportunity to open their new life. This is a kind of situation, the second half of 19th century. And Japanese, actually later 19th century, Japanese are there and start with scratch, probably nothing, but they are very diligent, work hard. So gradually they show some success. That is a kind of the threatening situation to white Americans. They have a kind of word, yellow peril. Yellow peril. This is a yellow is a yellow. This is the coca, yellow peril. They start feeling uncomfortable with some Asians, people from Orient. There are Chinese already there, and many involved in the railway work, that kind of public work, and so on the mining, and these are the kind of thing people Chinese started their actual work. The Chinese the communities become larger and larger. More people come. So America actually set the new regulations sometime 1880s that exclude, eliminate Chinese the origins. So the Chinese origins not actually welcomed sometime later, 19th century. The Japanese, no exception. So Japanese gradually put under certain strict regulations, and that is one of the reasons why Japanese look for other directions. So still some people, of course, there are a large community in Hawaii, or 100,000 people over there. And in case of California, maybe several thousands Japanese. Before they are a fully grown up community, the America stopped the Japanese coming into the United States. So this immigration policy, outbound the immigration policy, the Japanese government have to actually revise to different part of America. That means Latin America. Sometime early 20th century, the Japanese government started sending the people to Brazil. That is a kind of the initiative to increase the Japanese migrants to outside, mostly Latin America, like Colombia, Peru. There are some other countries. Japanese gradually settle down to start their own communities. This immigration was quite active within Asia too. The China, Japan actually established new state within China, which is called Manchuria. So Manchuria, 100,000 of people, actually cross the water westbound to reach there to look for new opportunities. And after the war, United States and other part of the world eligible to receive Japanese nationals as migrants. After 1951, Japan surrendered to the United States Allied forces in 1945. So Japan was under occupation of American forces for 7 years until Japan signed independent the accord 1951. So after 1951, still government are willing to send immigrants to other part of the world. So Japanese policy started sometime 19th century, continue even after the war. Until around probably 1960s, Japanese economy started boosting, kind of skyrocketing after the completely destroyed state of the economy, manufacturing, industries. Quickly, Japan recovered. And sometime around later 1960s, Japan became second biggest economy in the world, next to United States. Germany recovered very quick. Germany reached second place after United States. But by the end of the 1960s, Japan actually took over Germany position. So second biggest economy. That is a very quick recovery after we lost everything, 1945. So the Japanese economy growing up, that means the Japanese industry need more workers for their operation. So sometime in the 1960s, Japan no longer need to send the people outside. So that is a kind of a big change. No more migration, no more immigration. So outbound flow of people finished. And inbound incoming, people incoming to Japan. Why? With what reason? Japan has the population reached 100 million sometime by the end of 1960s. So big population, 100 million. So no need to receive anybody from outside. Japan kept sending people for about a century, but no longer required for that the operations. And also no need to receive people from outside. So that's why immigration policy is something different from not migrants policy, but the exit, entry of the country, the control that the situation is the immigration, job of immigration office. This is the kind of the basis of Japanese concept about foreigners in Japan. So here, Japan actually started sending the immigration migrants to Hawaii. First group, maybe 100 people, 150 people, to reach Hawaii in 1868. And then afterward, reached the United States, somewhere around here, till the end of 19th century. Sometime in the middle of 19th century, as I mentioned, the big the movement of United States. Train reached here, and gold rush here. That's the middle of 19th century. So other country, United States, have this water for the first time. So this water is a huge Pacific Ocean. And the one of the things US was interested in is to find whales, somewhere around whales in the Pacific Ocean. What they expected from whale? Japanese has an industry. Actually, Japanese are traditionally catching many fishes. Of course, it is surrounded by water, including whales. There are certain areas of Japan has a long tradition of searching for whales. In case of Japan, whales for eating everything. You don't miss any part of the whales. But the United States, they search for wells for oil, fat. That is for lantern, lamp. That is the main purpose of their operating well boat around here. And sometime when they established the big part of the United States here, that was the middle of 19th century, shocking historical event took place in China. China, here, Opium War. That's a war between Britain and China. And China, for the first time, beaten by foreign powers. So British existence getting stronger in China. United States, of course, knew that fact. Not only Britain, France, Germany, Italy, many European countries are advancing to many parts of China. So United States behind that trend of kind of colonization of China. So they want kind of mobility of this Pacific Ocean, and this is a long distance steamboat, which Japan didn't have a steamboat at the time. Steamboat need some kind of their energy source. To get the steam, you need something to burn wooden materials, and long journey. You need a supply of water, supply of food, some time, some places to let their crews to take a rest, a kind of pleasure place. So America dispatched squadron led by Commodore Matthew Perry, 1853. Matthew Perry reached Japanese water and threatened Tokugawa shogunate to open the relationship with the United States. Their demand was answered a year later. So 1854, Japan signed treaty with the United States to open the port. This opened the way for the United States to get close distance to China. So Japan must open the door for the sake of U.S. operations for coming generation. Asia, now they get foothold to access this area of the earth through Japanese port. So after the treaty signed, it took some years, but Japan opened 5 ports for US, and of course there are other European countries. If you do have any treaty with the United States, we must have the same one. So by the end of 1860s, actually 68, 69, 5 ports opened. One Yokohama, Hakodate here Niigata, and Kobe, and Nagasaki. 5 ports opened. And in case of Yokohama and Kobe and Nagasaki. Even today, you can see Chinatown, or if not so town, but kind of Chinese community still exists. Yokohama, in case of Yokohama, there are many actually foreigners start living because port open. There are traders, diplomats, some the military attaché. So each place has certain foreign communities, and Europeans and probably Americans too. They actually hire when they come to Japan. They bring Chinese. When they are occupying the China, China, they are actually the foreigners actually community, yeah, where no local Chinese allowed to enter. There are some signs, Nanjing, maybe Beijing, Shanghai, wherever the foreigners community exists. At the gate, there are signs. No Chinese, no dogs. This is a very much kind of situation at that time, and how people look into that way. But anyway, that's such kind of the situation sometime later, 19th century, and some migrants policy still continue into the 20th century. But things are different. As I mentioned, the Japanese economic recovery, very quick recovery, ceased any immigration policy for outbound. And inbound, the incoming foreigners, only tourists or some business people. Residents in Japan in 1960s, 70s, 80s, quite limited. Here it said even 2010 is already 21st century. 2010, the ratio of foreigners in Japan, 1.3%. So 20th century, say 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, very few foreign residents. Japan, no acceptance of migrants. And Japan still actually in middle of its growth. There are plenty of workers available. And because last time we touched the baby boomers, they are born immediately after, shortly after 1945, 1947, 8, 9. Each year, 2.6 million new babies. So they are actually reaching the adulthood. So 1960s, 70s, when they graduate from the middle school, junior high school. If your family wealthy, your parents well educated, maybe continue study at senior high school. But many families in Japan, 1960s, are still struggling with kind of poverty. So after you graduate from middle school, junior high school, you immediately join the job market. And the big cities like Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, kind of industrial city, need a workforce, the shortage of workforce. So they receive many young people from countryside, some from Aomori, Iwate, maybe some Shikoku Island, Kyushu Island, and some Hoya around Niigata. There are many people come to the large cities. So they actually very much wanted young labor force. We call it the golden eggs. Tin no tamago, the gold and eggs, golden eggs. Still the eggs, but when company train them, they can actually grow to the educated to the very important workforce. So at age 15, 16, very young age, but they are wanted by many companies, particularly in the major cities. So it's a big flood of young people within the country migrated to big cities. So this is a kind of situation before Japan reached bubble economy. Bubble economy, sometime 1980, 86 to 91. It's about for 5 years. This is the bubble economy Japan never experienced. And the stock market reached 38,000. 38,000 yen for just the share of the stock. So that is a huge impact to Japanese economy. And this is the time the company need able, talented, bright students. So this is the time young people wanted and not so difficult to be hired by major nationally known companies. So this is the kind of dreamful age for newcomers to labor market. But it lasted only for half decade. Yeah? 1991, something happened. Out of blue, Republic of Iraq invaded Kuwait. That is a huge impact of our economy. Because it happened Middle East, petrol-rich areas of the world. So this is a most atrocious impact the world. Japan no exception. After this, we gave up so-called bubble economy, started long hard time, recession. We're going through kind of recession for many years. 2000, say one, so decade. Situation, Japanese economy is very much slow. Not much economic growth. This is a very difficult time of Japanese modern age. Later, people call it lost decade in Japan. And 10 years later, say, 2001 is a so-called 9/11 Islamic fundamentalists. They actually suicidal attack to the center of Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. The two skyscrapers, World Trade Centers. They hijacked the airplane, and one destroyed World Trade Center. I turned on the TV and just tried to watch the TV news, just ordinary news. But I was so surprised, something happened. And one of World Trade Center building. While I'm watching the news, what's going on? There another plane hit the second World Trade Center. That was an unbelievable scene. Actually, there was a restaurant on the top of the building, Window of the World. That's the name of the restaurant. When I had a chance, several occasions, to enjoy the dinner or sometimes lunch at the Window of the World. That's collapsing, unbelievable scenes. That's the huge impact of world economy. Everything changed afterward. Particularly United States, unforgettable experience. 10 years later, 2011, we call it March 11. Earthquake, tsunami, and Fukushima nuclear meltdown. For Japanese, unforgettable experience. Still affect some areas of today's Japan. This is 2011. So, and 2008, the world actually economy collapsed. We call it the Lehman Brothers shock. Even the security companies, Lehman Brothers, huge organization, collapsed. So this is a lost decade. And here, lost 2 decades for Japanese eyes seeing the situation. And this is a lost decade, second decade, and here even third decade. If we just follow the decade, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Here, the epidemic, we call it corona, world affected by COVID-19. So this is a economy is getting a very much deep dive. 3 years COVID-19. It takes some time to say take off. So until end of COVID-19, this is the 2023. Japanese economy is actually for 3 decades very much at the bottom. National gross domestic product, you hope at least 3-4%, but stay at about 1%. And inflation, the no inflation, everything stay the same. People wage hike, very minimum almost stay. So, but 30 years, Japanese economy is very much slow. Get back to the migration. During this period, so first lost decade, because of after bubble economy, Japanese economy slowed down, and there are many graduates as usual. Here this time, students wanted to confirm he's coming to our company. We invite you to trip to Hawaii, trip to Bangkok, and we can give you big incentives. So students are very happy, and actually they have trouble. The internal acceptance letter you receive from this company and that company, and so you have to actually decline the other ones. You have to spend some hard time to choose one of them. That is very much ideal for young people. But this is no longer existed after 1991. It's a long kind of recession. But industries wanted some workers, because we call it there are kind of type of occupation. You are not so enticed to do that. Join. We call it 3K. 3K jobs. K. Kitsui. Kitanai. Kurai. In Japanese, all start from K. Kitsui, kitanai, kurai. But if we translate in English, 3D. Kitsui means difficult. And another D, kitanai means dirty, So this is the dirty. And the third one is dark. Even though there are some shortages of the work considered at the bottom of the labor market, these are very difficult occupation to attract young people, newly graduates. So there are many students, because of job market getting harder. So there are many students who are out of the job, but they don't come to this kind of occupation. So the Japanese kind of business associations, they discuss with the government. We need somebody come to work our occupations or industries. If not domestically acquired, how about the foreigners? There are many foreign people. They like to come to Japan, earn the money. And if we receive the workforce from outside, we can take them at cheap wages, less than ordinary Japanese workers. So this is the kind of new policy for Japan. Sometime here, around here, middle of 1990s, 6. They come to Japan as a worker, so under certain visa. So the name of visa is 技能実習。技能実習 technical. This is the intern training. Technical intern training. And this is the first visa open to the foreign workers. Before 1996, there are some foreigners who work for Japanese the companies, but they are very specified people with Japanese origin. The people realize Japanese customs and cultures, languages are very difficult to understand. So if we receive somebody at random, very difficult to control them. So best possible measurement is to receive workers from the country or communities where Japanese origin, second generation, third generation are there. Because as you look into the Japanese outbound migration, the Hawaii, United States, they are probably not interested to Japan for kind of so-called cheap labor work. So we have Brazil and some other central, the Latin American countries, the generations past. So there are offsprings of Japanese origin. Particularly sometime 1980s, Brazil suffered from a very bad economy. So people want to go somewhere, and if you are a Japanese origin, you are given the work visa. Japanese actually probably prepared 200,000, could be 300,000 visas for Japanese origin workers, second generation, third generation at that time. Now, even fourth, fifth generation, but sometime 1980s, the Japanese government, Japanese business world, find out that some very unique method. We welcome Japanese origin people, so they know kind of basic things about Japan. Could you understand some Japanese word? Or Japanese culture is not so strange to them. That's why they are received by many industrial parks all over Japan. That happened 1980s. But the 1990s, Japanese economy is something very much no good shape. So basically, no need, no extra workforce from outside. But this 3K problem, 3D problem, this still have to be solved. But not by kind of a Brazilian or Latin American, Japanese origin people. They are certain actually ratio probably occupied. So this middle of 1990s, to solve this problem, new visa introduced. That is a technical intern training. And this technical intern training is now to be revised because Japan no longer want to. So basic or basic actually category workers to be called intern training. Something different category Japan actually looking for to start the program. We talk about it in the next immigration. It's a kind of big program. There are different visas. So we are actually getting into further details next time.